A pallet truck is a workhorse in the warehouse. It's products from tractor-trailers and travels up and down aisles to deliver and retrieve products on low racks. The driver stands on the truck's platform to steer and operate the forks. Need a lift? A pallet truck is small but mighty. It can lift loads that weigh up to 8,000 pounds. This computerized laser cuts out many of the pallet truck parts from a sheet of steel, and the software ensures that there's minimal waste. A technician inserts one of the parts in a brake press. It folds the edges, creating flaps to form it into part of the vehicle battery box. This is the part before and after bending. At the next station, an operator clamps fork frames in a welding fixture. He adds multiple steel supports at the base of the fork frames and along the sides. They'll strengthen the structure and add balance to allow the forks to carry heavy loads. As the fixture rotates, the robotic welder moves in and fuses the supports to the frames. At the next station, the fully assembled battery box is lowered into place and positioned upside down. Operators place the fork frames on top and lock them into place. The fixture slants the parts towards the robot so that it can get into tight spots and weld them together. They also weld together the structure that will house the transmission. The parts plunge into a series of solutions. The first baths remove grease and residue. The final one preps the metal for a powder coat finish. Then, a worker applies an electrostatic charge to powder particles. The particles gravitate to the parts and form a powder coat on the surface. The powder coat gives the parts a protective skin and a uniform sheen. Next, technicians install a metal rack on the fork frames to help contain the truck cargo. They clamp the assembly in a fixture that holds it sideways so that technicians can install pull rods in the base of the forks. Powered by hydraulics, the rods will move the forks up and down when needed. Powder-coated bright red, the truck structure is ready for the components. A worker bolts swiveling caster wheels to the base. Another worker then installs the steel arms that will link hydraulics to the pull rods. Moving around to the back of the structure, she connects the arms to the hydraulic pistons. She runs hoses from the hydraulic fluid reservoir to the pistons and torques the fittings. Each structure is marked to indicate it's been torqued correctly. A probe gauges the measurements of parts like this transmission bracket. If the measurements are off, the part can't be properly assembled. At another station, a technician bolts the drive tire to the transmission and motor assembly. A crane lowers the drive assembly into the center hole of the pallet truck structure. The worker secures the parts together with bolts. Another worker then wires the motor to a controller. He makes other connections to prepare the motor to be coupled to the battery. Now it's time to marry the truck structure to the battery and fork assembly. The worker links the pull rods to the hydraulic lift system using two bell cranks with thick pins. Next, a technician attaches metal blocks, leveling the forks to a specific height. Thick cushioning at the back will give the future operator a comfortable surface to stand on. A cover protects the transmission, motor, and the hydraulics. This pallet truck is ready to get to work. An LED light system guides the operator to place items on the pallet. It both carries the load and tells you how to load.